Let's go ahead and extinguish those here as well. Look at the squib here. And we've lost all electronics because we've lost the engines. But look, everybody, what's coming out here? The ram air turbine. That is something that the regular A320 doesn't do on Microsoft Flight Simulator. This is impressive. Now, this video is for those who are really poor but kind of want to get into the world of flight simulation. See, the list of free flight simulators out there isn't very long. It's hard to not have to spend over $100 on decent flight simulator products. You know, like buying a flight simulator like X-Plane and having to buy a realistic airplane on top of that. It's kind of the norm, but today we're going to talk about the very impressive FlightGear flight simulator, which has been a thing for a couple of years, and recently they released a new update, and I gotta say, this really kind of blows my mind. I have downloaded it now. Let's go ahead and take a look. Now, this is what the intro screen looks like. We can already see in Airbus A320. Now, the reality is when you download the free FlightGear simulator, you only get a Cessna 172 Skyhawk, you know, as a vanilla airplane, which isn't very good, but there are tons of add-on airplanes like an A320 family add-on, which is really amazing. A high-quality Airbus A320 simulation for the open-source flight simulator of FlightGear. Completely for free is this whole flight simulator experience. Let's take a look at this Airbus A320, and let me tell you, it is really not bad, although I haven't paid a single dime for it. So let's go ahead and select it here. This is the aircraft section. We can also select an airport. For example, my home airport, Frankfurt am Main. Here is the runway. We don't want to spawn onto a runway, but rather we want to spawn on the ground. Now, yes, UI design is not as amazing as, you know, the Microsoft Flight Simulator, but here we go. Spawning like that. As the environment, I want to have real world weather, which we can download. Very realistic. Time of day shall be noon, and let's just press fly. All right, and so welcome to FlightGear. And well, yes, on first glance, we're not looking at the most beautiful flight simulator. One other issue is, by the way, I can't go in full screen mode because otherwise the mouse cursor disappears. I have no mouse cursor. That is an issue on my side, so I have to zoom in a little bit here in the editing, but it doesn't matter. Definitely, we're not talking about eye candy in today's standards. This is the Frankfurt airport indeed. Yes, the tower is kind of realistic. We're at the Lufthansa terminal, which is why we probably should change the livery now. Select livery here. Let's do that. We can select American Airlines as well. There we go. That simply does it. We don't have Lufthansa livery here, but let's go into the cockpit, and that's where we really get into the impressive bit. Because in terms of usability and realism, this completely free thing can very much hold up with modern flight simulators indeed. Let's turn on the Airbus A320. Go ahead and do that. Now that turns on some of the stuff, some of the lights, but we of course need to turn on the APU. Look at that working. Now we have ATC in the background talking. I don't like the TTS voice there.
121.80 Frankfurt am Main startup control.
I don't like the TTS voice there, which is why I really like to just turn off the radio. Please, can I just do that? Let's turn off FGCom here. Jesus Christ. Okay, there you go. Our APU has now become available, and you can see some of the screens turn on, but only barely. We have to align this airplane first, and this is really impressive because this is, you know, more in-depth than the default A320 was for years in the Microsoft Flight Sim. You know what I mean? This is once again completely free, but we have to still align this airplane here on the 8 euros. We're talking about an add-on aircraft here that is definitely above freeware. Let's turn on the fuel pumps here. But you know, of course, before we fly, we need to do some more things like ground services here. Yes, we already have the chalk set. For some reason, the chalks are quite heavy, quite big. Let's go ahead and, you know, put in some stuff here. This is the external power box. Let's also put on some stairs here. Perfect. Let's do that. Look at the stairs, baggage ramp. Let's go ahead and enable the catering truck, toggle catering. So that's going to go up. The gate gourmet. Let's get the fuel truck. As you can see, it is connected, and we can instruct it to, you know, refuel the airplane. We don't have to do that now because we've got quite a lot of fuel on board, so no worries about that. Let's get rid of that again. At the moment, the weather isn't really nice. Let's go ahead and turn on the de-icing truck, and we can even have that work on us. Look, the de-icing crane is being lifted. Yes, and it's spraying stuff on us. That's good. Let's go and get rid of that again. So, you know, this is definitely not a simulator that would visually fool anyone, but I'm quite convinced of this. Now, I mean, there are not even shadows here. Now, if you get an airplane like this, you know, this A320, your expectation is to make, you know, a proper flight. from one place to another with a proper flight plan and IFR procedures. By the way, let's turn on the lights. And this airplane really makes that easy because it even has a SimBrief integration. Let's go ahead and do plan a flight. Here, a very short hop from Frankfurt main international airport and then to Frankfurt Hahn, which is over there. Just a small flight indeed, and just press create right here, generate flight. And let's talk about flight planning indeed, because the MCDU really does kind of blow me away. Look, we've got several options. We can select the ATSU system, so the ATC menu. Yes, even ACARS works. Let's go ahead and select the FMGC, the proper flight planning mode. And here in the initialization, we can request initialization, request the flight plan. And here it is, coming in from SimBrief. That really didn't take long. This really does remind me of these proper flight simulators, but this is completely free and will run on any computer, I reckon. It's not very graphics intensive, of course. Now, there is one thing I will say, and that is that I haven't been able to plan any procedures. For example, here is our flight into Frankfurt Hahn. That's the destination airport. We can't, for example, select an arrival. There's only an arrival runway, 03, but no stars are available. That's, I guess, because of the nature of this flight sim. Maybe you can add them in, and I just haven't figured out how. Same goes along, of course, for departures. Yes, runway 25 left we can select as a departure runway, but no standard instrument departure. Good thing is that this plane has just copied over the waypoints of the departure from SimBrief, so it's not that bad. But yes, the lack of existence, of the standard instrument departure kind of pisses me off. But other than that, we're looking at a really in-depth simulation that you can really work with. Now, of course, for proper simulation, you also need ATC communication. There is a multiplayer community for that. I'm just not going to test it. There's actually FlightGear comm settings, I guess, where they would have events where you have proper ATC communication, but that sim won't work here. That's all I can say. All right, now let's get ready for engine start. RS is going to align in 1 minute, which is good. Let's turn on right now the APU bleed. By the way, let's put that switch down here. Okay, APU bleed on. That's ridiculous how many buttons, by the way, work here. Audio. I don't know if that even does anything, but you can switch this. You can turn on this light. And there we go. Our plane has aligned here. That is perfect. So now it is time to do and pushback. So let's do that now. Pushback. There we go. Connect the pushback tug. That works. And it's now time to work with this. Come on. Oh, that's forward. We don't want to crash into the... Stop. Push me back, please. Okay, there you go. Now, I gotta be honest, though. I'm a little bit irritated by the modeling here. Why does it look as though this is kind of bent, like someone has crashed a plane like this? It looks like it was at Istanbul airport. Okay, there you go. We can steer the pushback tug like this while this is happening. Let's turn on the engines now. So there we go, engine start, and there we go. That should work. We can zoom in and we can see, yes, it works. What I like is the sound design as well. Definitely not bad at all. All right, to disconnect pushback tug, we are done pushing back. Let's set the parking brake here. Very beautiful. Let's turn on engine number 1 as well. There's, random cabin noises in the background. Oh, and we can even hear the bark. That's kind of nice. The PTU's good. So that's kind of nice. We can hear a little bit of cabin in the background. Now, the cool thing is that, out of the box, your joysticks and everything will be nicely recognized. Here's my rudder pedals. I just need to reset the throttle input because that is at full power for some reason here. Hold on. Input devices. Hold on. Throttle. Okay, there you go. Now that controls both. Very good. Oh, now I think I messed something up here. For some reason, there's now a jet wave. Let's go ahead and taxi. So let's give it a little bit of power here. Set the flaps to 1 and release the parking brake like that. Now we can use our map, but not really to taxi. Oh, I think I just realized that we crashed. Okay, this map is kind of hopeless for taxiing. Just lets us know where runway 25 left is that we planned for our little flight. Also, there is not really a lot of taxiway lines here on the apron. To be honest, though, you are able to download sceneries, add-on sceneries for this flight sim. I just haven't found out how and where. And there are not really lots of good scenery releases that really makes this look different. All is fine. Here is this taxiway. Something I haven't done, by the way, is make an announcement.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is your captain speaking. Welcome on board.
Okay, and what I'm going to be really interested in is, of course, system failures. Stuff like engine fire. I mean, look at just the fire extinguisher on the engines. Isn't that a nice look? Okay, here's us taxiing along in this cabin view. These graphics would indeed be very impressive if it was 2005. All right, so here is runway 25 left. let's go ahead and take off. But before we do that, let's go ahead and turn on the windshield wipers, which make a bit of a little bit of a difference here. At least the runway here looks kind of all right. Honestly, there are some full motion flight simulators still nowadays that offer similar graphics, to be honest. So let's go full power. There we go, Toga. We can hear that and we can see that, man. Toga. Very good. We even have a little bit of shaking going on. This is quite nice. And yes, look at all that rumble. Perfect. You can obviously see my flight control input here on the screen as well. And we have taken off out of Frankfurt Airport. We can even see some wing vortices. Very beautiful. Takes a while here to cycle all the views, to be honest, though. Okay, there you go. Let's go ahead and turn on autopilot now, and that should work. Let's head. Yeah, there you go. There we go. Now it follows the flight plan as it should. Very nice. Let's put the landing gear up, speed checked, as well as flaps up, speed check. This is very serious flight simulation, although we haven't turned on. Oh, haven't turned off the few. There we go. Now the APU's off. Turn on the packs. Very good. Plane is following our flight plan as it should, but maybe climbing a little bit too fast. Oh, by the way, this is how you select. Oh, there you go. I finally figured out how to do views properly. Look at this. Now the drawing distance isn't amazing. There should be forest below us. There's no way the flight sim looks that bad all the time, right? Maybe the reason why this looks like nothing is because I've turned off on the satellite photo scenery and it just doesn't work now. Let's try to reset that. Ah, okay. I really apologize. Now it looks a little bit better and we're actually able to see stuff. So this is the city of Mainz down there. Doesn't look that amazing. Obviously, this is using polygons. Shh, you're fine. There you go. All is okay. Just follow the route, airplane. You're absolutely all right. Let's turn on the lights right here. Take a look at what they look like. Oh, look. That brings down the manual compass right here. I've never seen that in any add-on. So yeah, I'm the reason why the whole flight sim looked a little bit bad here. This is still not a looker, but I mean, it's trying to imitate towns. Now let's, keep talking about the realism that we have here that you may not even find on Microsoft Flight Simulator, for example. System failures, left engine fire, for example. Look at that. The fire doesn't look necessarily amazing, but oh, there you go. Engine 1 fire is now finally working. Look, we even have that showing down here. And we, of course, have our fire extinguisher light coming on. We can now extinguish the fire. Squib is the agent. That is really detailed. That is insanely detailed, in fact. We've got to land ASAP. The thing that really interests me as well is other fires. For example, forward and aft cargo section, as well as lavatory fire. Oh yeah, cargo smoke, not bad. We've got lots of fires, and we even have to, well, there we go. We can put out the dischargers in the cargo hold. There we go. Put out that, put out that. Very nice. Now, obviously, that's something we can't see from the outside, that we have a cargo smoke, but this is insanely cool. Now, what happens if in a full-on engine failure, I wonder? Yes, turn on have fire in APU, as well as fire in the engines. Oh no, we've lost our engines. Let's go ahead and extinguish those here as well. Look at the squib here. And we've lost all electronics because we've lost the engines. But look, everybody, what's coming out here? The ram air turbine. That is something that the regular A320 doesn't do on Microsoft Flight Simulator. This is impressive. Now shut up. You're fine. All engine failure. Here is some relight speed. Those will be helpful. Glide distance, we know. Those are actual menus here of the Airbus A320 that I've never seen. Diversion initiate, all engines fail, procedures apply. This is really, 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 really cool. You're fine. Like, this flight sim is usable for me in a video to explain stuff. And I wouldn't have expected that. This is for free and will run on any potato, on any Linux and any Mac. But we need to go ahead and see, what do other airports look like? Let's spawn in, ready for takeoff at St. Barts. There you go. Just enter that in. We can spawn now on final approach to runway 28. There we go. That's exactly what I like. Let's press fly, see if that works. Oh, that hasn't worked. We have died. Well, I reckon spawning into midair with this airplane doesn't work. So let's revert back to the Cessna 172 Skyhawk. Okay, this is what St. Barts looks like. I mean, you can tell it. That's genuinely not bad. It's definitely not a looker, this whole flight sim, we have to say. But it just works. And it has, lots of features that we haven't even talked about. Volcanic eruptions, all that stuff. And of course, an instant replay right here. Look, this is where we can replay our flight.
Replay stop. Your controls.
Shut up. We have a very obnoxious voice as well. Yeah, well, this plane works just fine as well. Definitely not as impressive, Uh-oh. Oh, shoot. I've just lost my wing. I've crashed into the water. Help! Well, I guess then no landing today here in FlightGear. Once again, if you're poor and don't want to get a job to work for it, it's a definitely usable flight sim. So thank you guys so much for watching this video, and I'll see you guys tomorrow as always. Good night. And a special thanks goes out to my members, my supporters. Guns Killer, R27, James Duram, That Dude, Anime Gods of Gaming, Derek, Insider Plane, Nishijitsu Finder, Professional Jamal, Ryland Williams, and New the York. You've got beautiful names.